If you go to the belly of the beast, quantum constellation, what's above that? You see Ethereum, but look how tiny that is in the entire ecosystem. Right now, the behemoth is Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's dominating everything. But look at the new system. That barely registerable in there. If I didn't look deeply enough and see the purple around it, Ethereum would have disappeared in the backscape. So think about how big these ecosystems are going to become, and these native blockchains are going to be, with the world's finance flowing through it all at the exact same time. And welcome back for the second segment here, Mini Ice Age Conversations. David Dubine, your host. Brighteon TV every Friday, 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, before the break, I was talking about the ecosystem that we're moving to as this slow trickle drain of wealth continues, otherwise known as the financial contagion, to move money from one sector of the planet, i.e. the Western Bloc, over to the new emerging BRICS currency. Think about the fourth turning for a moment here. Now, since World War II, Western nations, Western Bloc has been blessed with wealth abundance, and we've gone from, just people living on farms, more rural and remote, all the way into these cities. Okay, there's areas in Asia that have taken advantage of it too, but there's vast quantities of our planet that have had no benefit from it. It does seem that now, since this debt-based system has run its course, that it's going to shift over, and in 70 years from now, I would bet places like Ghana, Togo, Chad are going to be as wealthy as the United States. That whole growth is going to just shift over, and the debt will be reissued again and to build out of continents, plural. And you could go probably through 100 countries that will benefit from this next run of 80 years. That will be equivalent to the United States as you understand it today, but the most third world, underdeveloped place on the planet will be America in 70 years. So you got to think about that switch and how's this going to happen? Well, you're going to need liquidity, and you're going to also need task forces to oversee the digital finance, crypto assets, blockchain, and distributed ledger technology, all in one neat little package. INATABA, is that how you say it? There's so many acronyms out here. But this is going to be the European Task Force, the European Economic Activity Area. Now they're going to put themselves in the driver's seat to be the finance overseers in the evaluations for digital finance for the entire planet. Europeans have put themselves in this. So look at that. Every time you have to click on the thing. Now, no, I don't want you to put the cookies on it. Every website, it was only a European thing in the beginning, but now everybody worldwide has to adhere to those standards. Well, Basel III, another one. If your bank's connected in Europe in any way, shape, or form, you're adhering to Basel III, where gold, by the way, is a tier 1 asset. Gee, who would have guessed? So the whole European thing, again, they're trying to put themselves in with the unelected oligarchs, and somebody will be in charge of this that's never had a job and was never elected. They were just appointed. Digital finance in Europe is going to spill over from the castles on high to the rest of the planet. It's already been penned this way. So this whole thing is supposed to be peer-to-peer energy trading anyway, for you to be able to access energy resources. Again, it'll be smart contract based. But if you look at the very last sentence down there, the systems technology collaboration between the International Energy Agency, the IEA. I'm sitting here going, whoa, what's the IEA doing with the peer-to-peer energy trading middle step here? Have you started to notice an increase in the appearance of wrinkles, fine lines, bags under your eyes, or other unusual signs of aging? It may be more than just stress. Wrinkles and other marks of aging are one of the top signs that your collagen levels are low. It becomes more vital every year that you get older to supplement collagen in your diet for the sake of your skin's health. Whether you're in your 20s or your 90s, you can experience the healthy aging effects collagen has on your skin with the help of this multi-collagen powder. I was shocked to find an improvement in my nails and joints as well. I add it to my morning coffee or tea and it tastes great while keeping me a little more full between meals. I want you to try it as well and experience the amazing benefits it's had on me. Take 51% off your order and receive some special bonuses with that before the spring sale ends. Go to healthwithadapt2030.com
That's health with adapt2030.com. Get ready to feel your best this summer. Order now and I'll let you see my goats. And now on with the video.
Wherever you're looking, now it includes energy. So you got natural gas, coal, and oil is all going to be on this new digitized space that's moving forward. Energy Trading Task Force is the name of that. I encourage you to do research because anything that's bought, sold in oil or natural gas is going to have to flow through these same mediums, setting up smart contracts, payment protocols, issuing stable coins against that, or maybe taking something in the new BRICS currency that'll be based upon that. Where it gets a little is IOTA, the Internet of Things. But IOTA itself is a token that's issued in this ecosystem. It's all about tracking and tracing everything in real time. This is why you're seeing so many 5G towers being rolled out across the planet. Small ones, large ones, you know, here in Knoxville, Tennessee, there's a huge amount, hundreds and hundreds of them going through the parking lots in supermarkets. And it's a tall tube, and then on the top, it just looks like it has a cylinder. It's a little bit bigger than the pole would be sitting on. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them around Knoxville suddenly. This is the whole IoT thing. And then we have the large towers and communication devices. Eventually that'll move to. So they want to track, trace everything in real time. That sounds great. I love it. You know, you can know exactly when your fresh produce is arriving from a foreign market, so there's no spoilage in transit. I get it. Looks good on paper, but the digital ID that's going to be forced upon you with some sort of biometrics to be able to participate in the system is IOTA also. And your healthcare and anything associated with medical records digitized, it's all going to be under that umbrella of the Internet of Things. So, you know, when we were looking at a few slides back, insurers with TradeFinex, they talked about insurers. Those insurers are going to have access to your medical records to deem you a risk or not. Now, currently, with HIPAA, your information's solid, well, as it can be. But with IOTA taking over healthcare and all patient records digitized and put on this blockchain here, it's going to be open to those that have partnered with it. So that's all the insurance companies. They're going to really assess you on your healthcare coverage at this point. And supply chains, obviously, and the industrials. So industrial is going to be everything chemical moving forward. Now, the global trade and the digital identity, I get it. But this citizen-centric governance, okay, explain that to me. Nowhere, anywhere in this blueprint where we're moving to do I see anything citizen-based at all. You're completely at the behest of the same governments, the same banking institutions, the same finance institutions with way more insight and the ability to turn off your money now. IOTA enables new possibilities for industries. Oh, the identity, you see that little fingerprint? Yeah, that's going to, what if somebody steals that? They say that you're going to need it to prove you're a human because there's so much robotic activity or bot activity out there. You don't even know if you're communicating with AI generated personality that they need to prove you're a human. I'm just saying, AI could fake a human. They could, oh, here's my new driver's license. Here's my new passport. I'm human, you know. But the customs border and management is a thing I'm like, whoa, this is even going to encompass all governmental borders across the planet. So when they talk about one world government and moving over to a one world system, well, we're in it, right? This is the beast right here, at least one of the beast's fingers. To be able to manage all customs and border crossings, etc. Again, back on the blockchain, two participating entities will be able to view this information. I mean, right now, you cross a border, they scan your passport. Okay, that's in like CBP or whatever's database. Well, not anymore. It's going to be global for any participant to look at. And then again, you know, the e-health and global supply chain trades. But see, Oracle's involved with this too. And this is where it gets super deep. So you got QuickBooks and Oracle now with the Internet of Things, in addition to the trade finance and the smart contract issuance. They're just trying to put out some figures. They're looking for 22 billion different connected devices by 2025. A connected device would be a truck full of goods rolling from the port to the end destination of a warehouse. That's one connected device. Your phone, how many are really connected to 5G networks yet? Maybe. But the scaling at which the quickness is happening, they were saying 10 billion by 2020. We had COVID. It actually scaled from there. There was a huge amount of 5G networking interconnectivity towers put out during the COVID time. You're locked at home and they're building towers every 20 feet across the planet. Now we're well above the 22 billion. It'll be far exceeding that. And here's where we get, Microsoft's involved also. Internet of Things, IOTA in its own native protocol, working with its blockchain system there. Okay, Azure is the Microsoft equivalent of the Internet of Things. So Microsoft has the exact same IoT Edge, the IoT hubs. They're doing all the development. So they're going to integrate with all these other Internet of Things technologies, moving down to be able to track things down to the second where it moves from point A to point B on the planet. Because this is what they envision in real time. And apparently there's 24 different applications of real time of where a good sits in a truck. This is how developed this technology is. And rolling an entire container through a port to scan everything in the truck, which will require a different set of ecosystem of technology for, well above RFID chips. They're too big, they're too bulky, they're too slow. Think nanodust. These kind of things are going to be needed to be able to facilitate what they want to track and trace in real time. Our old technology, clunky. This is speed of light, Aquarian flows of energy. Now going through that, do you believe I only covered the right side? That's the interoperability of just what you see from XDC or Shinfin, TradeFinex, Algorand, Inabot over in Europe, and IOTA Internet of Things. That's just that side of the layering. That's insane. I'm not even at the middle or the left here. We're going to go off to take a look at Ripple, Stellar, and Hashgraph. So Hedera, way back in 2016 when I was just learning about cryptocurrency, I had a few conversations with persons who were like so many light years ahead of me, telling me, everything's going to move over to Hashgraph. And I was thinking it was a whole different protocol. Like 10 years from now, it was going to be a different layering system. And, I didn't know how Bitcoin was going to integrate on that and how these layers were going to work on. I was just confused. But here it comes. Hashgraph is out. And I understand now. You shall see the light has hit my eyeballs. This is what it's all about. Now, the governing council here, this is actually, if you think about energy across our universe, you have this base layer called qubits. If you're looking into the quantum realms, think of this as a qubit energy layer that everything else can scale and build on top of. Hashgraph and quant. Those are the qubits of the ecosystem for cryptocurrencies moving forward. Governing council here. Stunning, obviously DBS, banking got to be in there. Boeing's in there. Why is Boeing in on this? And Avery Dennison, Material Sciences, and Global Buy-Side Finance Asset Management Company, ABRDN. Okay, these are the players on their first line. This line goes about 40 deep. And I'm thinking, every single corporation is in on this already. They have bait and switch to that. They're not touching it. Oh, it's too scary. Don't do anything with crypto. Yet behind the scenes, everybody's trying to integrate with Hashgraph and Quant on this to move forward with smart contracts and issue their own stable coins for payment. Wow. So where it gets a little bit interesting is the payment rails here. So BankX or BankSha, however you like to say that, global off-ramps and on-ramps for stablecoins and crypto. 5 banks in America for that same exact protocol, that same exact function were just completely wiped out. Oh, but there's a replacement, BankSha, but it's running on their protocols and their ecosystem controlled by the central banks yet again. Who would have thought? And then we got Corda, R3, USDC, by the way, will be the stable coin of choice for this new system. And if you look at Zimbali down there, this is a digital token infrastructure payment rail for CBDCs or Central Bank Digital Currencies, which winds us right back to the Fed now and the Fed coin. That is the CBDC. Europeans will have their own. Australians will have their own. Zimbali is a word you're going to start to hear more and more. And payment rails is something you should start to hear and see get traction in the news. When you hear CBDC, Fed Now, Fed Coin, Fed account, these kind of things are going to, this is the switch. They're going to revalue the money and they're going to flood your account with new quote unquote dollars that'll have way far less purchasing power in them, and it'll be digital, and whatever you buy, they will know instantly. They can push or pull to create faster velocity of money to spur the economy, or they can tighten that back and cause a recession to get interest rates again under control. Ripple, XRP. It's actually not the token. It will be used, but XRP, Ripple Net is where we're looking at here. On-demand liquidity. And what are we hearing about today? Oh, the lack of liquidity. You're underwater. Your bonds are there. Your T-bills are there. It's an illiquid market. Nobody can sell because they'll lose money if they do. Oh, this solves all of that, on-demand liquidity. Now, for you and me, we'll never participate in this. This is just for the bigs. Talking about sovereigns like nations and corporate 500 companies that can issue debt out of nothing to themselves. The originator would be a sovereign or a corporate 5 or a corporate 1,000. The sender, that's going to be the intermediary, again, in the same native ecosystem, probably be Stellar or XRP itself. And then the receiver, and there's going to be fees along the way. Could be 1,000th of a cent, millionth of a cent, whatever. But the amount of trillions of transactions rolling through this thing is going to make a substantial amount of money. So interest, the way we understand interest will change, and the way we understand payment systems and the movements of money, charges and fees on top of that will change also. But you see how it's all going to be revolving around the XRP wallet with this on-demand liquidity. So if you're going to want to participate in this, you're going to need to be using XRP native protocol and their wallet and their infrastructure to be able to get on-demand liquidity, which will solve the crisis. It will never happen again ever until the next time. Yeah. So the receiver and the internal system. So it's like this. You fetch a quote. You put it out there, somebody can grab that quote just like the bond market or T-bills, and then you'll accept the quote, and then the monies will be transferred. Liquidity will go forever. Now the cross-border payments will work much in the same way here. Sending institution, that would be you, the buyer. Now you can get into USDC, and then that will convert over to token of choice. You can fill that in yourself, to the receiving institution, which will be the seller on the other side of the ocean, for example. And then the beneficiary will take possession of that, and everything will execute on the smart contract based on events. This event happens, then there's some funds released. That happens, and this fund is released. All documents will cease. There will be no more flying bits of paper around the planet. It will all be done in real time, just like this. But notice where it says receiving institution and sending institution. Yep, they're going to scrape a little bit off every single transaction. So again, it's just same, but different. And this is more for you or I liquidity hubs. Not that we can participate in it as such, but your access to it will roll through this, just like we have banks today where you'd go in and buy, a T-bill or some sort of bond. You could get, I don't know, some kind of money market. It's the same thing. You'll have to go through the banks to get it. But this time you're going to be going through Ripple's liquidity hub. It offers the same functionality as banks. It offers the same choices to be able to, for assets and investments. But it does incorporate a little more of the known coins like Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, which, by the way, is going to be in everything. As you can see, if you go to the belly of the beast, Quantum Constellation, what's above that? You see Ethereum, but look how tiny that is in the entire ecosystem. Right now, the behemoth is Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's dominating everything. But look at the new system. That barely registerable in there. If I didn't look deeply enough and see the purple around it, Ethereum would have disappeared in the backscape. So think about how big these ecosystems are going to become, and these native blockchains are going to be, with the world's finance flowing through it all at the exact same time. Now, hypergraph, not hashgraph, but hypergraph is connected right over to right here on the bottom, Constellation. This is going to be proof of reputable observation, meaning if your node's running and it's more reputable in the time it closes blocks and sends them on, and there's no difference or issues, taking back transactions, etc., you're going to have a higher score. It's almost like a social credit score for those running nodes to be able to get liquidity pushed through it instantly with no questions asked. Of course, JP Morgan will have one of these prime positions. Truly interoperable, supports endless types of state channels. Yeah, I just described all those to you. Endless. and infinitely scalable as well. These DAGs, which you got DApps and DAGs, and if we go over to look at DAGs, it's directed acyclic graphs, and it's just a different way to issue smart contracts and push payments through without having to use their ecosystem of 300. It's the same, but different. It's on a different level, and you can scale it in different layers. So it's infinitely scalable. When you talk about the infiniteness of the universe and infinite dimensions, you're looking something at the same here, but just in a different scale. So what I'm talking about is high-low chain with the DAG on the far right there. Look at those layers of green. That's what I'm talking about, the interoperability scaling of all these layers within each other, interlooping and interplaying. That's where they're moving to. And this typical blockchain, super old school thing here, they had scaling issues from the beginning. That's why Bitcoin forked off and why Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. Quant is where it is. This is it. This is the behemoth of the behemoth. Think of it as the Bank for International Settlements. Think of Quant as the new BIS. Empowering an interconnected world, they serve bank, asset managers, financial institutions, enterprise, technology partners, fintech developers, and a host of others. Let's talk. Okay. Hey, let's talk about carbon credit platforms. Yeah, I forgot. They're going to be running all the carbon credit schemes that you'll need to pay for if you buy a good. I want a glass. I want this glass of water here. Oh, what's your carbon credit? How much carbon did it take to produce that? Supply chains, everything's going to be paperless. Quant's going to make sure that that happens, which brings us right back to the boxes again. Everything's going to be smart contract, no paper. You see how Algorand's blended back in again. They all just interloop on top of each other. And distributed ledger technology, DLT market, $3 billion, and it should be jumping to almost $40 billion by 2025. So that is, 13x increase in a few years. We're coming up to the last minute here, so I'm going to try to roll through the global industry. Got to be compliant. So anything that's going to roll in the system is going to be compliant. This is not financial advice. These are the prices of all the tokens being used in the new system that are being set up. Now notice the 30-day at the very bottom. Look how much they crashed. Somebody swooped them up at discount prices, and now that game on, look at XDC, the beginning of it all, the Shinfin, oh, it's up 25%, is it not? So you can start to see who's integrating what and what's go live right now based on the pricing and the movement and the market cap in these coins here. So right there's your list, not financial advice, but look at some of these prices. Can you imagine getting Ethereum at like 4 cents? XRP, the conjecture was $1,000 coins in the future, all these kind of things. So where does the ecosystem leave us now? You can definitely see we're moving from here to there. I hope it helps you make a better choice, but I would definitely consider some gold and silver in this too, not just putting my faith in some digits that can be controlled. Do thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Bye for now.